Guys, I hope this video will be published still in 2019 because my upload speed is 0.39. It's not very fast. Living in the village from August this year. But anyway, if you're watching me in 2020, welcome you all into the new year. Happy New Year, guys, and 4 important areas or places or parts of your derailleur which you will be able to check and service in 5 minutes. Why am I focusing just on the derailleur? Because you can do it quick without ripping apart your bike. Now with the internal cables it gets much more difficult, but the derailleur has a huge impact on how the shifting goes. If the shifting is crisp, you also have the feel that your bike is nice. When you go, you feel the chain going up the cassette, going down the cassette, it's great. When you have to shift two cogs down and then upshift one up in order to actually go one down on the cassette, this feels awful. And some of you will already text me, Danny, what's the best MTB for up to $1,500? Don't do it. Make your bike work greatly. So 4 places, 5 minutes. I'm going to show you some pretty much used derailleur, very used derailleur. We're going to compare this to the new one and fix some stuff on it. Okay, this is my new XTR derailleur. This is not my bike. I have this derailleur for my new bike. I'm loving it, but not without some small issue, which I'm gonna tell you about. But anyway, how to check whether your derailleur is performing in the optimal way? Well, push the shifter. I'm just pushing on the handlebars, the shifter, just a little bit, not clicking, not the full click, but just a little bit. When the derailleur reacts like instantly, that means you have quite clean cables inside the housing, and everything here works pretty well. So how does it work? The cable goes out of the housing right here, it's clamped right there on the arm of the derailleur, and it pulls the arm of the derailleur, and then the derailleur moves on its parallelogram. So this is this part. You can see the movement right here. And the key stuff for our work is to find all the moving parts, because where the movement is, there is the friction. Where the friction is, that means it will hinder the crisp shifting. So let's get into it. All right, I found great setup for the camera. So look, I'm pushing the shifter just a little, and the derailleur goes with my finger actually there on the handlebars. So this is working good, and it's going down in the same manner. Yes, my friends, you all wanted to have internal cables on your bikes, and now it becomes more difficult because, as I shown you in the previous years, you could remove this last part of the housing and then put a little bit of loop on the cable right here on this last curve, and it has a great impact on the shifting performance. But we don't have access to that anymore, but we have access to this last part. I could feel under my fingers that there is a little bit of friction here. So what we're gonna do is that we'll clean this cable. It's actually clean, but we're gonna clean it with the rag, put a little bit of oil, and then by shifting up and down, we'll let the oil to go a little bit here inside the housing, and then clean everything from the outside. Now, what I don't like about this derailleur, which actually doesn't make any sense, is this rubber here, because this rubber is pinched by the arm of the derailleur itself, and it cuts the rubber. So like 1/5 of the rubber is already just like swinging here. So it doesn't make sense, and it also goes down. So something better, some better sealing rubber here would be nice. But let's do the job with this cable. That will be part number 1. Now I'm applying a little bit of the lube right here, and I'm shifting up the cassette till the very end, to the lowest gear, so that the cable will go like inside up to here. So I'm gonna loop this part at least. Now there is way less friction here, but we are not leaving this one wet. We need to dry this one. And we will put the sealing rubber back again. See? Here is the second part, the guide pulley. Of course, having both pulleys clean is great, less friction and less oil sticking and dirt sticking to it. But not many people think or remember about that this as a guide pulley is pushing and pulling the chain back and forth, which means that there are such forces working on it, which means the bearing or the bushing on the cheaper derailleurs here must be working very, very smoothly in order not to create additional friction. Because see, when I'm now changing the gear from third to second without spinning the cranks, you see now that this pulley is pushing the chain, and so the chain is also working against the pulley like that. So you might not notice any friction simply by spinning the wheel, the pulley, but when apply some force on it, you might feel it needs some tender loving care. So let's just shift down or up to the highest gear and see how it works. Okay, we are on the highest gear. Now you need to switch off the clutch on the Shimano derailleurs. On the SRAM ones you don't do it. And then I'm gonna just move the chain a little bit and then see how the pulley works. It's working very, very well. But what about when I apply some force on it? No difference. So yeah, it would be bad if the new XTR derailleur after a couple of hundreds of kilometers would already get stuck on the bearings, but it doesn't happen with these derailleurs. Both on SRAM and Shimano, they have good quality here. So this is just fine. By the way, you can also check the lower one. Just move the chain from it, remove it, and then you can see the spinning. It's okay. But this is the upper pulley. It's the upper pulley that will make more impact on the shifting when the bearing or the bushing is in bad condition. The third area or part is the parallelogram. By the way, I also agree with you that the chain is a little bit too long here, but this is not my bike. Maybe somebody wants to put larger chainring at the front, so I'm not changing it. But let's go back to the parallelogram. This is the outer plate, and there is also the inner plate of the parallelogram. Each of the plates are just working around these axles or bushings. And so 1, 2, 3, 4 friction areas for each of those plates, which means 8 places to clean and lube. Now, how do professionals clean and lube derailleurs of the pro riders? They use high pressure water, and then they simply spray all over here, clean it so that it's kind of dry, and then it goes and it works very, very well. We're gonna do similar thing. We're gonna clean the derailleur in an easy and simple and quick way, and then just apply a little bit of oil right there. Changing the gear in order for these plates to change their position as well. Once more changing the gears. And yes, I'm keeping now the Allen key in my teeth so that I don't have to put it back. Now don't be afraid that something will just drop. It's all cleanable afterwards. That's 2. That's 3. Four, 5. There's the 6th one. Seven, 8. Now let the derailleur work. And let's clean it. If you're not sure you found all these, this is for example the road diagram. Outer plate, inner plate, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's one side, and then 5, 6, 7, 8. And the current Ultegra, very easy, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, we've checked the cable, the guide pulley, then all our pivots for the parallelogram, that's 3 areas, and the 4th one is the clutch. Shimano clutch is serviceable and adjustable. SRAM clutch are non-serviceable, non-adjustable, but SRAM clutches are, I would say, more durable, or at least more smooth. How do I think so? Listen to this. Okay, the mileage of this one is between 500 and 1000 kilometers, so that's the mileage. So if you ride a lot, that might mean that after a month, in wet conditions, it will sound like this. I am happy to show you the same exact derailleur, but the new one. And listen to this clutch. It's off, it's on right now, and there is no such sound. Why does it matter? Because when we shift up the cassette, the clutch will also stop the cage from opening. We are happy that it doesn't really happen at the same exact moment when we push the shifter. The derailleur moves first inwards and then the cage opens up, but it will affect the shifting. Listen to the sound of the clutch while I'm shifting up the cassette. Can you hear that? First, you can hear clicking of the shifter and then that clutch. Exactly when the cage is opening up. By the way, this is my old exterior derailleur on my little B, my Merida E 160, and the clutch, after I don't know how many miles, about 2000 miles or so, maybe more, sounds like this. Oops. So it needs servicing, because when I turn it off, it's completely silent. So yes, it creates additional friction and it hinders the crispness of our shifting. You're not gonna be able to do this in 5 minutes, but you can check it at least like every other week. When you open this little rubber here, I'm gonna show you on the new one also. Here you have the access to adjusting your clutch, because I was thinking maybe this clutch was adjusted like with too much tension. So I'm gonna go one full motion like this, counterclockwise, so it doesn't make this sound that much, but also it's not that strong anymore. These are stronger than SRAM clutches, but I think would be nice to serve this one, which I've already done the video about on the channel, so check this one out. Okay, one back. Ooh, we really need to service this one, otherwise we are done.